Call the Westfield, Washington Township Advisory Planning Commission to order for April 20th, 2020. Will the staff please note the presence of a quorum?
Ms. Berkman?
Yes.
Mr. Graham?
Present.
Mr. Horkay?
Present virtually.
Mr. Johns?
Here.
Dr. Kelleher?
Here.
Mr. Maui?
Maui here.
Mr. McCarty?
McCarty here.
Mr. Schmitz?
Schmitz here.
Ms. Boljeric?
I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Good, thank you. Next up is the approval of minutes from April 6, 2020. Having an opportunity to review those minutes, are there any additions, corrections, or comments?
This is Mike
really...
Jones. The only comment I had was I didn't see Cindy Spoljeric's name, and I think she was present.
Yes, that was brought up to our attention earlier and has been corrected.
Okay, cool.
This is Dave Smith. I was present as well from about 7:15 on, but didn't have audio, so I don't care that the change is made, but you know.
Brian Ziegler, do you have any advice on that? Should we list Dave as
Let's
present?
not address it. I believe he voted on something somewhere along the line, didn't he?
No, I don't believe we have.
Not the ATC. I didn't have audio, so I thought I was voting, but.
Okay, let's leave them off then.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. I ask everyone who makes a motion and seconds a motion this evening to start by stating your name so that we get it straight for the record, please.
Horkay moves that we accept the minutes into the record as written.
Maui seconds.
And for the record, since this is virtual, rather than, we will call a roll call vote on everything tonight. So I have a motion made by Mr. Horkay, seconded by Mr. Maui to approve the minutes of April 6, 2020, with the corrections that Ms. Howard noted. Will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Berkman?
Yes.
Mr. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Horkay?
Yes.
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Boljeric?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Next up is change to the schedule of meetings.
Yes, this is Pam Howard. So we have proposed one change to the schedule of meetings for this year. That is for our first June meeting. With the change to the date of the primary elections, City Hall will be set up for the elections on the 1st. So we are proposing changing it to Wednesday the 3rd, which is the same thing that was done for the May meeting. As you know, our May meeting is being held on a Wednesday because that had conflicted with the previous date for the primaries.
Okay. Any discussion from the commissioners on this? Hearing.
I was just wondering if, because the meeting is being moved to the next month, are we going to still stick with the Wednesday meeting in May or revert back to the Monday usual date?
We had planned to stick to the Wednesday meeting since that's the way it was approved on the calendar last year, and that's the way it had been advertised when this was sent out to the press.
Copy
So
that.
we don't need to change it. We'd prefer not to.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve the revised schedule of meetings.
McCarty will second.
I have a motion made by Randall Graham, seconded by Mr. McCarty to approve the revised schedule of meetings. Ms. Howard, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, Ms. Bergman,
Yes.
Mr. Graham,
Yes.
Mr. Horkay,
Yes.
Mr. Johns,
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher,
Yes.
Mr. Maui,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes.
Ms. Boljerick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. At this time, we'll review the rules and procedures for this evening's meeting. We have 2 consent agenda items, 2 regular business items, no public hearings. If you would review those, please.
Yes, again, this is Pam Howard. Due to the COVID-19 emergency as declared by the Governor of Indiana, the format and conduct of the meeting has been changed to modified to comply with executive orders regarding the conduct of public meetings, public hearings, and public gatherings. Relevant portions of the Indiana open door laws have been amended or suspended during the pendency of this emergency. For tonight's meeting, all the petitions will have the following structure. The department will summarize the petition and describe what action, if any, is necessary to be taken. The petitioner will then be given up to 15 minutes to present to the Plan Commission. The president of the Plan Commission will call on each member to provide comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition, and the petitioner will then have a chance to respond to comments. If a member of the public has any comments regarding a petition, they should be emailed to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name or number included in the subject line. Those comments will be forwarded to Plan Commission members and the petitioner. A few comments for Plan Commission members and petitioners. Please have your email accessible during the meeting so you can read new comments as they become available. And please mute your microphones when you are not speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. Next up is the consent agenda containing 2 items, 2004-GDP-06 Chick-fil-A expansion and 2004-GDP-07 Commerce Drive parking expansion. I would entertain a motion at this time.
This is McCarty. I'd like to make the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in the staff reports.
This is Kelleher. I will second.
I have a motion made by Mr. McCarty, seconded by Dr. Kelleher to approve the consent agenda as written. Will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Graham,
Yes.
Mr. Horkay,
Yes.
Mr. Johns,
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher,
Yes.
Mr. Maui,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz, Mr. Schmitz, Ms. Boljerick,
Yes.
Ms. Bergman,
Yes.
and Mr. Schmitz. Okay, motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. Next up, item of business, 2004-SPP-04 and 2004-ODP-04 Hallworth Business Park.
Good evening, Plan Commission. For the record, Dane Crabtree with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening is the overall development plan and primary plat for the Hayworth Business Park PUD, which is approximately 37.6 acres at the southeast corner of 169th Street and Oak Ridge Road. This item received a public hearing at the April 6th Plan Commission meeting where there were no public comments. These items are now compliant with all applicable standards and is eligible for your approval this evening. Adam Dehart of Keeler Webb Associates is present this evening. He does not plan to present, but is available for questions, as am I if there are questions of staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crabtree. Ms. Boljerick, do you have any questions or comments?
No, not at this time.
Mr. Schmitz, any questions or comments?
None from me. Thank you.
Mr. McCarty, questions or comments?
I do not. Thank you.
Mr. Maui, questions or comments?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Mr. Johns, questions or comments?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Mr. Horke, questions or comments?
No questions, no comments.
Ms. Berkman, questions or comments?
No, not right now. Thanks so much.
Dr. Kelleher, any questions or comments? Dr. Kelleher?
Sorry, I was on mute. No, I do not. Thank you.
I do not either. Since there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion at this time.
Horke moves to approve the Howarth Business Park 2004-SPP-04 and 2004-ODP-04.
Kelleher seconds. Sorry.
So with the condition as noted on the agenda that all necessary approvals be obtained from the Public Works Department and Hamilton County Surveyor's Office prior to the issuance of an improvement location permit.
Kelleher seconds.
Very good. I have a motion made by Mr. Horke, seconded by Dr. Kelleher to approve 2004-SPP-04, 2004-ODP-04 with the staff's noted condition. Will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Boljeric?
Yes.
Ms. Berkman?
Yes.
Mr. Graham?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Howard.
This is Adam Dehart. Thank you for your time. Appreciate everybody's hard work on this, including staff. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Moving on to our final order of business this evening, Plan Commission Order 20-01.
Randy, this is Brian Zager. I'll start with this. As you can see from the map, can everyone see the map? Plan Commission Order 20-01 comes from you from the Redevelopment Commission, who adopted their declaratory resolution about an hour ago. In that declaratory resolution, they're amending the Grand Junction Economic Development Area and creating a new sub-allocation area, which is highlighted in yellow, I believe. The plans for that area are going to be in conjunction with the current zoning and pursuant to our comp plan. This order is a request for the Plan Commission to state that the development or that area is going to comply with the current comp plan and nothing more.
Brian? Jenny
Yeah.
Kelleher here. The yellow area, what's the red on the map then?
The red, I have to apologize, Jenny. I just can't see the map very well, but let me see if I can pull it up on a bigger computer. It should be the Grand Junction Economic Development Area.
Yeah, the red is the custom concrete site.
No, the red outline
Right,
on the
right.
agenda is actually I'm sorry, Randy Sense. The red outline on the agenda is actually the outline of the property that you are creating the sub-district area for.
Thanks,
That
Randy.
is
Thank you.
formerly
That's what-
FabCon.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Randy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kelleher here.
My apologies. My video is not coming through very well at all.
Okay, Dr. Kelleher, you're actually up first on questions or comments. Do you have anything further?
No, I was just trying to make sure that the red areas was what we were talking about.
Okay. Ms. Berkman, questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Mr. Horke, questions or comments?
No questions, no comments.
Mr. Johns, questions or comments?
I've got several questions and comments, but I will refrain today and I'll wait and hold those at the council meeting.
Okay. Mr. Maui, questions or comments?
No questions or comments.
Mr. McCarty, questions or comments?
No questions or comments. Thank you.
Mr. Schmitz, questions or comments?
None, thank you.
Ms. Spalgeric, questions or comments?
Just a comment. I know that we have some new APC members and they're probably not accustomed to reviewing things like this. This is primarily to establish its compliance with our comprehensive plan in terms of the APC's role, correct? Staff?
Yeah, this is Kevin. That's correct.
Okay, and I heard the RDC meeting, and the estimated cost for this is about $1 million to $1.5 million, correct? Is this Randy on there too?
Yes, I am on the line. And your question was, I'm sorry.
Oh, that it's probably going to take about $1 million to $1.5 million to do the site improvements and demolition.
To do the demolition, that is correct. In order to clear the site of the current industrial blight, it will be between $1 million and $1.5 million. They've put a not to exceed of $1.5 million.
And you expect it to take less than the 25 years?
Absolutely. Yeah, 25 years is the statute of time. But, you know, we are highly incentivized to move this project along just as fast as we can. As you know, at the end of this isn't this part of it, but this is a fully developer-backed bond. We are the ones that are financially responsible for everything on this request. And so it only makes sense that we would work as diligently as possible to attract new AV to this area.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is real quick. Sorry, since that was mentioned, this is McCarty. Just for the demolition of the site, it'll take $1 to $1.5 million.
That is correct.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
This is Mike Johns. I just have one quick question. Randy, did you do a phase one environmental study on the site? And do you know what the estimated cost is of the site cleanup from an environmental standpoint?
Yes, we did do full phase one and phase two environmentals on not only the main site, but also the additional parcels that we purchased, the EFS and then the agricultural and home to the north. We have gone through all processes. There has been no environmental found. Well, a site like this looks really, I guess, nasty or dirty is the word, industrial blood. It's none of these businesses that have operated on this property been businesses that produce anything that would be environmentally dangerous. They're more dust and that type of thing. So everything has been capped. And then also in the agreement, Catherine Fanillo of your council with Krieg DeVault requested that the city be given all indemnifications. We are granting that as well, but we have full phase one and phase twos on every element with a full clean bill of health.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
This is Maui. I'll make a motion to approve Plan Commission Order 20-01.
Okay, seconds.
Have a motion made by Mr. Maui, seconded by Mr. Horke to approve Plan Commission Order 20-01. We call the roll, please.
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Boljeric?
Yes.
Ms. Bergman?
I'm sorry, did you call me?
Yes, Ms. Bergman?
Yes, sorry. Thank you.
Mr. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. That was the end of the agenda. Kevin, Pam, do you have anything else?
We do not.
Well, there's no further business. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Kelleher seconds.
You need a voice vote on that, Brian, or a roll call on adjournment?
Let's do the roll call only because we're having some communication problems.
Okay. Will you call the roll, please, Pam?
Yes, Dr. Kelleher,
Yes.
Mr. Maui,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes, and thank you for everyone's hard work.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes.
Ms. Bulgaric,
Yes.
Ms. Bergman,
Yes.
Mr. Graham,
Yes.
Jorge,
Yes.
Mr. Johns.
Yes.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.